everybody. It's another Friday, and I will talk today about steps to connect with angels and those who have passed on. I first want to read you a piece out of the Bible which says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened up." Matthew 7, verse 7. Angels and loved ones that are on the other side have a very subtle energy, where we are, of course, very much in a physical, more dense mass energy. And initially, we need to make a real effort to connect and to be aware if we want to make the connection to divine energies or our loved ones. They're always number one, that we can ask our angels to show themselves or our loved ones to show themselves by feathers or coins or a certain bird passing by or a certain formation of clouds where we suddenly see angel faces, or we suddenly hear the engine of an aeroplane or see a certain car that our dad loved very much. So we suddenly are aware of different signs and messages when we ask our loved ones or angels to make themselves visible or to really be showing themselves to us in a different way. So it's a more aware, more conscious energy and presence, and a more awareness to really wanting to have this kind of magic in your life. With more awareness, you will definitely bring more answers, and you can ask for certain answers, and then you will hear certain pieces or certain words in a piece of a song that you hear through the radio, or in the music that you hear, or you pass by a certain crowd of people where suddenly somebody says something, or when you ask for certain signs, like I did years ago, whether I should go to New Zealand or not. I suddenly saw someone passing me by, and their registration plate was the name of my mother. So then I had to answer that what I was intending to do was the right thing to do. So this is quite a lot of fun when you live like with more awareness, with more synchronicity, with more knowing that the people from the other side that is actually in this side, plus your divine energies, your guides and your angels, do come through when you really make an effort to ask them and you're open to different signs and messages, which also changes the way that we think. We get away from more analytical thinking, from more rational thinking, to more playful experiences of what we see and what we experience out there. In other words, we see reality in different dimensions. Also, divine energies, God energies, or your loved ones can be more felt during prayer, meditation, or even when you just sit in nature or you rock in a chair because you're suddenly quiet. You do more introspection, or you go into the dream state where you're more aware and you're more peaceful and you're not rushing around and just being busy. The biggest killer, if I want to call it like this, to any connection to your loved ones and to angelic energies or guides is busyness, because busyness just keeps us busy without really being aware of the present moment. When we are in nature, we can also see much more in terms of certain animals that maybe a loved one loved, or that we see, like I said before, a formation of clouds that looks like an angel, or we suddenly have the knowing that we are surrounded by divine energies. It's also something that we can practice when we feel alone. For instance, I have a lot of people who at the moment after lockdown feel very alone or even depressed or lonely, and they think they're the only one feeling like this, where when you really sit back and you ask your angels to be close by, the people who've passed on to be close by, and we close our eyes and we see ourselves like a red bubble, in a red bubble, and that we're connected via a navel string or a cord to other people in red bubbles, also being on their own, right around the world, then we can breathe into this bubble and we suddenly have this clear knowing that there are so many more people right around the world that are in the same bubble as you are, and that we're actually connected. And when you can then do some deep breathing and focus on the breathing, you know that you can feed other people and you can uplift your own frequency, and you can uplift the frequency of other people, where you then bring automatically in a higher frequency, a more godly energy, a more divine energy. And you will know that you're never alone. Except for the visual encounters that we have with angelic energies, we can also have verbal communication with people from the other side, or even our angels. And often this comes through that we hear angel, or just a word or a phrase, or like I said before, we hear a certain phrase in a song that we hear when we listen to music. And it can be telepathically, or that you really hear something and then you're very surprised because there's nobody around. The typical sign of angelic energies, divine energies, are light orbs, or what people also call angel lights. They are just a presentation of certain divine energies showing themselves in photos, in your surroundings, and sometimes you even see them straight in front of you in the shower, and you know that this is angelic energy, or it's the energy of people who are close by, who have been thinking of you. The challenge is that it involves an area of our brain that most people rarely use. So it takes practice via meditation, via prayer, via sitting still and really vibing, I want to say, on a different vibe, and being open to really seeing or hearing the messages that you can get out of another realm, out of another vibration from around us, but more calmer, more peaceful, more aware, more of a knowing than a real fact. Very often, the connection with people who have passed on, or even angelic energies, makes us less afraid of dying. So the knowledge that these people are around us gives us comfort. Even that angels are around us give us comfort. And some people will also know that during incidents like when I remember back to my car accident a few years ago, where I had the clear connection to my father, plus I saw in all the people around me after the car accident were definitely angelic energies. They were not just physical people, but also angels that were coming towards my car. And I could feel this immense love, hope, and like a light orb, this light, although it was dark, it was so light around me, so loving around me, so warm around me. So then you know that you do not just have the normal energies around you that we call normal energies, but that you really have guidance here from divine energies and from people who have passed on. That gives you then this clear connection to heaven, and we want to put heaven into inverted commas, because it really is a way to connect. How we can connect as well is through automatic writing. And that is how I, for instance, wrote my book, my Ultimate Transformation book. It was just something that developed. I would just sit down and it would come through. In other words, I actually channeled the book. And when you do automatic writing, you will also be able, after some practice, to really write down or channel messages from above, or from your divine angels, or from your guardian angels. And you can even make the effort and write in a diary to the person that you've lost that was very close to you. What is also initially very powerful is when you have an altar where you have certain angels on there, certain photos on there, where you burn candles on a regular basis, where you sit and pray, which is your sacred space. And if you are somebody like I used to travel a lot, I would have this sacred place in my mind. I would go into any room and have the sacred place in my mind, like a temple with a light to above, and the godly and the divine energies coming into this temple, where I would sit down on a certain bench and I would have this definite feeling and definite connection with divine energies and my guardian angels. And I could pray there in my head, even in this spot, and I could feel complete serenity, peacefulness, and the feeling of love and being embraced by divine energies. In a meditation, we can use the sounds of Om or which are actually sounds of God, which we can hum while we meditate, even for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because those are called the sounds of God. So there are many ways to connect to our loved ones, plus to our guardian angels, to our guides, and to God energies. And it's just very important that we stay open and that we open ourselves up. We do pray or we do ask for their guidance, for their protection, for their connection even, because otherwise we do not open up this side of our brain that is normally not open to divine intervention or divine connection or connection with our loved ones. So it is a practice initially, and later it's just a different state of mind, a different knowing, a different muscle that is actually being practiced and exercised here to be open to divine energies and loved ones that want to come through. I hope that this gives you some guidance and insight, and I wish you well. Have a nice weekend.